Accelerators organization, hello, I am Joel Gandara. I'm not in my usual setup at home. I'm traveling a little bit, so I hope you can hear me and see me okay. Let's go through these questions. Always good questions. The bad questions are the ones that don't get asked and you just leave them in your head. Brief introduction on myself. I own an apparel company for 20 years. I owned, and now I exited. If you follow me on social media, you see on Friday, I'm very happy, exited that business and still own a fulfillment business. And also where I spend my time is actually coaching. So I will do my best to answer these questions. All right, here we go. First question is from Sam Tran. How do you find the idea, or how did you find the idea for your first company? I have worked in my family's grocery business for a long time, and I am finally ready to start my own thing, but I don't know what. What would you advise me to look at in my life to figure out what would be a good business to get into? Sam, there's a good book called The Alchemist, and it could apply here. Highly recommend reading that or listening to the audiobook. Sometimes what you're looking for is right under your nose, and you've already got a head start. I know nothing about the grocery business. You know a lot more than I will ever know. So there might be something in there. Your family is, they're already in that business. You've gotten to learn it a little bit. Explore that first to see if there's some low-lying fruit. Maybe it's not your passion. Maybe it's not what you want to do forever. But it's a start, and you have a foot in there. And you can look for weaknesses in their business. If you were a competitor, how would you knock them out of business? Would you automate some things? Would you start selling online? Would you form a YouTube channel? What would you do that you have maybe a skill set that you can improve that business? And even if you don't do it with them, it's bringing in what you know. You look at Gary Vaynerchuk. His dad had a wine store, liquor store, and he took it up a notch, and he didn't do it at a high level. He put some cheaply put together YouTube videos back in the day, and he talked about wine. And he built that up, and he created wine.com and all this amazing stuff. Now he's not doing that, but it was a means to the end. He made money doing something that he knew something about, and he had a leg up. He had a store full of wine. He could just grab a bottle, taste it, and do a thing. So that's something to look at before you jump gears into something completely different. And I say that because you didn't come here saying, I have an idea. You're just saying, I don't know what to do. So start there by exploring that possibility. I think that's the best way to start with something that you're somewhat related or you have some knowledge of that, right? All right, I hope that helps, Sam. Next question is from Rohit Gupta. His question is, how does our company best deal with competition? Here's a business description. We sell exotic snacks and drinks from around the world. Right now, we sell at exhibitor events and online through our website, but we're opening a retail store. We just found out that we're getting retail competition in our area, and it's hard to deal with because we want to be the first to show our products off to the community, but we may be getting beaten to that. They're a retail store like us coming to the mall. We live in a small city, so all the attractions are near the mall. I'm getting doubts about the business. How do we make sure we are the best and beat the competition? Rohit, if you've ever visited a store and seen flaws in the way that they operate, then you start making notes in your head about, well, I would do this better. I would greet the customer better. I would offer this better discount, whatever that may be. That's my recommendation. Competition is there, but look at the majority of places. I find most businesses to be run very poorly. And even though I'm not in every industry, I'm in a couple of things, I always think, man, I could knock them out of business if I could do this, this, and this. If that's how they're running their business and they're still here. Somebody that I've invested in their company to a significant amount had a competitor open up 2 blocks away, and they were very worried about that. And what can you do? You can't go, you're not the mafia. You're not going to go burn their building. So what could you do? You could up your game. You can make sure you have the cleanest shop, the nicest, the friendliest, whatever it may be in your situation. New product releases are put right in front so people get to see that all the time. A loyalty program, whatever makes your business really sticky so they can't go away. They just want to keep going to you. I personally will drive out of my way to go see a business and give them my business if they treat me well, if they make me feel special every time I go in there. And sometimes I can't put my finger on it. It may not, let's say a restaurant. The food might be pretty good. The what else? The atmosphere might be pretty good, but man, if they treat me really special, if they remember my name, if they talk to me and treat me really nice, I'm so loyal to that place. I'm going to keep going back every single time. Now, there could be another restaurant that maybe the food's even a little bit better, but their service is not good. I will boycott that restaurant for the rest of my life. I will never go back. And sometimes it's hard to put your finger on it. You just say, I don't know, I don't get a good feeling there, but I get a good feeling at this other place, so I go there. And when you backtrack and try to figure out what it is, a lot of the time that boils down to service. So make sure that you're running your business the absolute best that you can and see what happens. And by the way, I've bought 14 businesses. 13 of those were competitors and people in my industry. So I always say, build a relationship with your competitors. Get to know who owns that. Talk shop with them. See how things are going. Because one day they might be in a situation where they're not doing so well. And if you've built that relationship with them, they might just sell you the business. And now you've got your established great business here, and then you open up over there and take over their spot and, under new management, and you start telling people who come to this one, hey, we also have a store over there. And that's how you start really growing. So you have to think that way. Otherwise, what's the alternative is a calamity. Oh no, I have a competitor. Guess what? Life has competitors. I get it. You're in a small town. You could be in a big town and you have 10 competitors. You're in a small town, you have one competitor. That's okay. You know who they are. See what they're doing right. Copy that. See what they're doing wrong. Stay away from that and become the best, most effective business you can become. And make it a game. You're either going to knock them out of business or buy them out. You should do both. You should compete with them at a level that will hurt them enough financially, but then also have a relationship with them so that you could say, hey, if you ever want to sell your business, I'd love to talk to you about that. That's my strategy. It's what I've done, and it's worked well. Next question is from Kelly Kellingsworth. How do I become the absolute best owner/leader in my excavation company? I'm the owner of Kelco Construction. We're an excavation contractor in Northern California. I know that I am a great operator. I know I'm one of the better drivers around. I know I can work my ass off, but I do not know how to grow and lead a successful business. As I look to add team members, what are things I should be doing to increase my skills in leadership and team building so I can grow the company? Kelly, there's a lot there. I love it because this is all mindset. It's a way of thinking, as actually so have the other questions today. They've been as well. So, you want to be a better leader? I would start by reading books on leadership. I would start by doing what you're doing here, asking questions, talking to people. Look for mentors that you can either shadow or that you can go visit them at their offices and ask them these questions in person, and they could show you examples. And they go, here's how I lead my staff. And they show you that. I never am one to toot my own horn, but recently I had a coaching client who I've been working with for months. He came into my warehouse operation and he met with my number 2, the guy who runs my businesses. And they spent like an hour together. And when they finished, I got there and I took him to lunch, the coaching client. And he said, I learned a lot today from your number 2. And he taught me that you know how to make leaders. You don't know how to make employees. 100%. I don't want employees. I want everybody to be a leader because that way I don't have to worry. I know that they're doing the right thing. They're doing exactly what I would want them to do, or maybe even better. And when they're stuck, they're at a crossroads, we talk about it. And I don't tell them what to do. I don't say, no, here's what you're going to do. I never speak that way. I say, what do you think you should do? Okay. All right. That sounds good. That's a pretty good plan. But if I find a hole in that plan, I say, well, what happens if this, then what would you do? And that's my way of telling them, no, that won't work. Do it this other way, but I'm not going to do that. I want it to come from them because that's how they're going to believe in the mission and they're going to go attack it properly. Jocko Willink calls this flanking. You go around the side like in military terms. You don't just go head on and say, nope, you got it wrong. You're doing it all wrong. You're going to discourage that person. They're never going to want to work with you. And otherwise, what you're going to do is you're going to train them to come to you for just every answer. I don't want that. I don't want to answer all the questions. I don't want to work. I want to make money. I want to grow businesses, but I'm not the worker. You said it there that you're a great operator. There's a distinction between being a great operator and a great owner. You've mastered the first one. Fantastic. Now you can lead people in that way. But the best way is to get it out of them. Obviously, this is a lot of role practicing and going back and forth. It's not easy to resolve this right now. But I mentioned him earlier because I think he's one of the top-notch guys on leadership. I would get a couple of Jocko Willink books, audio or on paper, and I think those will help you start working toward that leadership stuff. And then reach out if I could have a quick call with you and just look at something specific where you tell me, well, here's where I'm lacking, here's where I'm finding a gap. We could probably work on that really quick in 15 minutes. Happy to help like that if I can. Next question is from Annie Schulenberg. Do I go with my gut and choose not to work with a potential client? Here's the background to that. Business is a lighting design consultant. So it's hotels, hospitality, residential. Today I had a meeting with a group that has transitioned from hotel work to office spaces. During the meeting, they requested that I spend 30 minutes providing their team with tips on office lighting for their projects, despite it not being my area of expertise. They also expressed interest in potentially involving me in a future project if necessary. I left the meeting with the impression that they are seeking free advice and have no genuine intention to utilize my services. This situation misrepresents my actual skill set, and it could potentially be a waste of time, particularly if a more suitable opportunity arises. I am inclined to trust my instinct and walk away. I would like to redirect them to someone else who may be better equipped to assist them. So 2 things here, Annie. Number one, if that's not your area of expertise and you're not interested in going into that, then yeah, that's an opportunity to just say, look, I'm an expert in this, this, and this. That way you're reminding them what you're really good at, but you're good enough to say, here, let me get you in touch with the right person. The other one is, so what you're talking about here is a consultant, but you went in and gave them your consulting services for free. That's on you. If I was them, I'd try to get it for free also. They're looking out for their best interest. You have to look out for your best interest. That's an opportunity to say, okay, so do you want my consulting advice? Here's what it costs. Whether that's 30 minutes, I come in for an hour, I'll write up a proposal of where you can buy these lights and whatever it is. You hold the value. You have this safe full of treasure, which is in your head. It's your responsibility to lock that up. When you go to the bank at night, the employees lock the vault, not the customers, right? If you leave it open, the customers will go grab that money for free. You're the gatekeeper. You need to protect yourself. Nobody's going to do that for you. Nobody's coming to help you. That's up to you. So value yourself more if you're not already doing it and charge for those services. That's what you do. I mean, you wrote it there. You're a design consultant. So I wouldn't go around just giving your services for free. Those are the questions for today. Thank you, everybody who asked. Thanks, Sean Thomas, for inviting me to answer these questions. I've been doing it, I don't know how many years now, but I love it. I absolutely love hearing your guys' questions and providing value wherever I can. Again, I'm Joel Gandara. Thank you guys for your time and your questions.